Trump administration is continuing their attack against our LGBTQ community members and other vulnerable and marginalized groups. Fortunately, it's not surprising. Trump is a bastion of hate towards communities of color, immigrants, the LGBTQ community, peaceful protesters, anybody that calls him out on his lies and bullshit and hate. He's been accused of sexual assault, sexual harassment a number of times, and overall just seems like not a very good person. So, and this is just another example of that. In a move widely decried by LGBTQ reproductive and human rights advocates, the Trump administration late Friday finalized the healthcare rule that revokes Obama-era non-discrimination protections for transgender and non-binary people, patients seeking abortions, and those who do not speak English. I mean, it's just so disgusting that this is the country that we live in, that so many marginalized groups are still being attacked, having their civil rights violated, having just their human dignity violated. It's just so sickening. This is deadly, and all of us should be outraged, declared ACLU Deputy Legal Director Louise Melling. This is beyond heartless. While people are facing alarming rates of unemployment, loss of health insurance, and a global pandemic, the Trump administration has rolled back rules meant to ensure that people are not turned away from healthcare because of who they are or what language they speak. Again, I mean, Jesus fucking Christ. We need Medicare for all. We need universal healthcare. We're basically the only so-called industrialized country in the world that doesn't have it. We spend more than any other country, twice as more as those OECD countries. Horrible health outcomes, a lot of disparities for communities of color, as well as LGBTQ folks, especially if they are people of color themselves. And this is, again, just insult to injury. Like it was saying, we're in the middle of a global pandemic. Tens of millions of people have lost their employer-based health care. Trump administration mailing added, has made a mission out of putting politicians and religious beliefs above a patient's health care. Yeah, it's disgusting. There should be no religion should play no role in people's health care, for Christ's sakes. Jesus. I mean, the first rule in medicine, that doctors and other healthcare workers have to take is the oath to do no harm. Putting your bigoted views into the doctor's office is unconscionable. That's doing an extreme amount of harm. Fatima Goss Graves of the National Women's Law Center said in a statement that the administration, this is from Common Dreams' article, should be ashamed of itself for finalizing a rule that puts the lives of the most marginalized in danger during a global pandemic, and warned patients will be put at risk by this rule. This will kill trans lives. This will kill trans people. This will kill trans people, indeed. Mara Kessling, Executive Director of the National Center for Transgender Equality, also issued a warning Friday saying, quote, that the new rules released today are hateful and cruel and will keep people from being able to get the care they need to live happy, healthy, and productive lives. Even as the death toll of the catastrophe of the COVID-19 pandemic grows and people take to the streets, the Trump administration remains focused on denying equal access to healthcare to transgender people, Kessling said. Trump administration has waged a nonstop campaign against transgender people, taking every opportunity to deny us the ability to live our lives as who we are. It's very interesting that these conservative, these MAGA, these Trump types who want to infringe on our LGBTQ friends, that they want they want big government when it comes to denying people's right to health care because of how they identify. It's gender wise, it's disgusting. Or if they don't speak English, I mean, again, not surprising, but deeply disturbing and sickening on every level. This is what it feels like even for many of us who are the most privileged. The Trump administration is claiming healthcare discrimination is unlikely to happen to trans people. I know that is a lie. The Trump administration is finalizing regulations that could allow trans and non-binary people to be turned away from critical healthcare services. This is Trace Stranger, I believe, a lawyer with the ACLU. I've seen them on Democracy Now! Before. Yep.
And the Trump administration has taken yet another step to attack us.
So fucked up.
All trans and non-binary people know how difficult it is already to access healthcare without facing discrimination and humiliation.
I got into a bike accident a few years ago. It's always like a lot of these like really small, like tiny humiliating things. And she was like, "Oh, have you had a sex change?" and started asking me all of these questions, which, I was there to get my finger x-rayed.
I think I was also mostly desensitized to it because I knew that something like that was probably going to happen.
I was once examined topless and having a procedure where I needed to have a needle inserted directly into my nipple repeatedly with the door open because the person didn't want to be alone with me.
Jesus,
this constant
having
to explain yourself and getting this like subtle like look of disgust. I was also told that when I couldn't not show that I was experiencing pain, that if I really wanted to be a man, that I would be tougher about it.
Being non-binary and not easily fittable in between man or woman and choosing to identify outside of a gendered binary is often difficult for some people to understand or grasp as legitimate.
It also can make you feel like this sort of object of curiosity rather than a person who's interacting with someone.
So many doctors have turned me away, asked invasive questions about my body that were completely irrelevant.
It makes you feel like a freak, not a patient.
The idea that I have to go see a doctor to like reaffirm every couple of months, like, yeah, I'm still trans, it's still happening, in order to get a refill is something that makes me uncomfortable, but I know I have to do.
Yeah. It's really toiling and really just stigmatizing
and
horrible. Pushes people
Nobody
from
should
getting
have to go through that.
They need.
It's really a life or death situation for people because you just don't go.
Don't want to put up with that. Who can blame them? That's fucked.
I am going without my hormones. I can feel my mental health deteriorating.
I'll say also that like most of what I experienced was, as a white person, as a class privileged person, good hospitals, good insurance, and you start stripping any of those things away, and it just becomes pretty unimaginable. I've been really lucky. Before my 21st birthday, I tried to kill myself because I couldn't find a therapist to talk to about what this is like, and I definitely couldn't get hormones or surgery or talk to my family. So it's like life or death.
The administration is trying to sell a false narrative that our healthcare isn't real or that it's not medically necessary, but that is completely untrue. There is a medical consensus that healthcare related to gender transition is safe, effective, and necessary, and that denying that care is catastrophic for the health of trans and non-binary people.
We're a community that has gone through so much, and
I think out of congregation comes a lot of political change and social change and power.
I would say to trans people that you are so wonderful and so brave and so resilient.
I see you. I affirm you. I'm here for you. You are valid. you're cared for.
So definitely find strength in the people around you.
We are out there fighting with you. We will never let this become the new normal.
Listen to your other trans friends who have, gone through things before.
I've also really struggled, and everyone I know has really struggled. We just have to do our best to support each other. Even if this government is not with you,
if we stick together and we join forces, we will win this fight.
Trans Lifeline Hotline is a peer support service run by trans people. That's awesome. 877 865 or 56588. I'm going to take a picture of that because that would be good for the thumbnail, potentially. Let's see here. But I mean, it's just so messed up that this is even able to be a thing, that people are getting discriminated against in healthcare because of how they identify, if they're a trans person or if they break out of that gender binary, because again, gender is just a social construct. So disgusting. I mean, fucking A. And they're also attacking the environment, attacking these peaceful protesters. That is the Trump administration. Hugely racist, hugely sexist, hugely classist, hugely transphobic as well. So fucked up. Good. That's awesome. Lambda Legal and the Human Rights Campaign both plan to sue the Trump administration over a rule finalized today that would remove women seeking abortions. And I guess there's even another layer to it. People seeking abortions would get discriminated against too. And LGBT people from the ACA's non-discrimination protections. I mean, fucking A. It's so disgusting. It is also a Pride Month. I mean, the 4th anniversary of mass shooting at Pulse nightclub in Orlando, with 49 people were killed and dozens were injured, the deadliest attack on the LGBTQ community in American history. Again, if you support Trump, you support his transphobia, his homophobia, his racism, his classism, and there is very deadly and serious consequences to all of those things, both domestically and foreignly, with our very racist and disgusting foreign policy as well. All power to the people. Peace. Much love.